My name is Raghav and I want to talk about Operation Fortune, Ruse de Guerre. Operation Fortune is a 2023 spy action comedy film directed by Guy Ritchie. I've always had a tough time with Guy Ritchie movies. When I first discovered him in the 2000s, his movies felt so specific and rooted to a particular experience. They felt energetic and stylish and super fun, especially his first two films, Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels and Snatch. I even liked Revolver and Rock'n'Roller, but after the first two, Ritchie's films were always kind of hit or miss. It always felt like he was either trying to move as far away from his earlier films as possible or trying to recreate the magic of the first two but somehow always missing the mark. I feel like Ritchie was not able to translate his voice and vision to meet the higher expectations after his early success, and he wasn't able to use the bigger budgets of his subsequent projects to enhance the story and filmmaking. Instead, it feels like each new film is losing its grip more and more, and this one is a prime example. The funny thing is that this movie has a great premise. A bunch of spies are trying to infiltrate a billionaire arms dealer's inner circle so they can find out his nefarious plans and decide to recruit his favorite movie star to help distract the billionaire while the spies do their sleuthing. The execution, however, is weird to say the least. If you wanna watch a movie with a similar, not quite the same, but similar premise with way better execution, watch The Immense Weight of Immeasurable Talent, I think it's called. It's got Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal, and it's basically kind of the same plot but told from the movie star's perspective, and gives a great twist to the billionaire bad boy character, played so well by Pedro Pascal. Also, Nicolas Cage is just a strange and wonderful actor, and it's worth watching any movie he's in, really. The plot of Operation Fortune is paper thin. The plot progression is incredibly forced, and the dialogue is clunky and the editing is choppy. It does not feel like these people were working off of each other or even in the same room at times. And maybe that was the case because of COVID restrictions, but that's movie making, innit? It's not like Daniel Radcliffe was in the same room as a domesticated house elf, but they made it work, and it's more believable than this shit. It felt like Guy Ritchie was playing a game to see how well he would be able to edit a film together if all he did was point the camera at the actors and yell, improvise. Jason Statham plays the eponymous Agent Fortune, who seems to be the world's worst spy. Like, he doesn't do anything right in this movie, and this is what I mean by the plot progression being forced. Like, normally in a spy caper, things go wrong during the operation either because of external circumstances, unforeseen malfunctions, or some form of double cross or something, being an opportunity for the spy group to show their ability to work well under pressure and use their ingenuity and skill to get out of a hairy situation. A great example of this is Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, directed by Brad Bird. That movie has a lot of great examples of things going wrong, not because of their incompetence, but because of like circumstances you couldn't have foreseen, or just like, stuff goes wrong sometimes. And then it's about how they improvise and still pull off the big daring deed that they were about to do, and which is not the case in what the fuck is it called? Operation Fortune. Here, things go wrong because these agents are just bad at their jobs. Like, Statham's character routinely goes out of his way to start fights that don't need starting. He misunderstands simple orders and gets way too close to the person he's supposed to be tailing and blows his cover. I think this is supposed to be for comedy, but is it funny when you're laughing at the main character as opposed to with him when he's supposed to be like a daring super spy? I don't know. I remember absolutely loving him in Snatch, and here I feel like he's kind of playing a shell of that character, lacking completely in any form of charm and basically acting like a dumb brute. Aubrey Plaza is in the film for some reason, and she's both the femme fatale and the comic relief, which could be fine in the hands of a more developed performance, but Plaza is left being a weird, goofy character that feels super out of place, and she's constantly bringing the momentum of the film to a complete standstill with her clunky dialogues and unconvincing performance. The only saving grace in the movie is Hugh Grant, who seems to be trying to become the next Jeremy Irons, although he's not nearly be quite as hammy or fun, he still manages to steal every scene he's in and is quite enjoyable to watch. Each character is unfortunately a vehicle for exposition. For a film that is so predictable that it's laughable, they spend so much time explaining everything. There's no chemistry between the cast and the whole thing just feels very flat. You can actually see the actors struggling to do something impactful with the material they're working with. While watching, I found myself googling the runtime of the movie to know how much longer I'd have to sit there, and at one point I was so frustrated with the whole thing, I seriously considered just cutting my losses and going home, because the movie did absolutely nothing to make me care about what was going on or wonder about what was gonna happen. It never even felt like any of these characters were in any real danger. I mean, it barely even felt like anything was actually happening.